I'm Aaron from PhoneDog.com, and it's part 2 of the review of the T-Mobile myTouch Q Android smartphone. It's got a physical QWERTY keyboard, but can it hold its own against the industry heavyweights? We'll find out, but first, some love to Best Buy Mobile for hooking us up with phones like this for use in our One Paw Bandit giveaway game, which we give to you on the site. When you go into Best Buy Mobile to get this or get any other device, you'll walk out working. They'll help you set up your email, your web, your contacts, your settings, your camera settings, and more. So when you walk out the door with this device, you're going to be good to go at Best Buy Mobile. Let's take a look. myTouch Q, is it the must-have smartphone with the best QWERTY keyboard, or is there something better on the market? Let's find out in part 2, which starts right now. We're into part 2 of a review of the myTouch Q. It's designed by T-Mobile, it's made by Huawei, and it's part of T-Mobile's myTouch line of devices. They've been out for some time, and they've been made by a number of manufacturers. HTC kind of started the myTouch trend, then it went on to LG, and now T-Mobile's tapped Huawei to design the latest crop of myTouch handsets. This one is the myTouch Q. It joins the myTouch at T-Mobile retail stores as of today, August 8th, for $49.99 after rebate. So you're paying $100 up front, you're getting $50 back by mail, $49.99 after rebate. But my point, as I made in part 1, you look at this device, and sure, it's a decent mid-range device. You've got a 1.4 gigahertz single-core Snapdragon S2 processor. You've got a 4-inch WVGA display, a 5-megapixel camera with 720p HD video recording on this device. You've got a front-facing camera, and it's packing Android 2.3.6, also known as Gingerbread. We've got a 1,500 milliamp hour battery, so it's not a bad device by any means, and it's one of the few out there that's coming to market with a physical QWERTY keyboard. That said, you look at this in comparison to other devices that start out at $100. So you walk into T-Mobile, you pay $100 for this before the rebate, or you walk into AT&T, and for your $100 at AT&T, you can get the HTC One X, the Motorola Atrix HD, or even for $50, you can get the Nokia Lumia 900. In Verizon, for example, the Samsung Galaxy Nexus is free. You've got the Droid Razr that's been discounted, the Droid Razr Max, and you got some awesome high-end options there as well. So it's one of those things where I'm like, price-wise, this would be great if it were free or $19.99 or $29.99. I'm having a really hard time recommending this at the $50 price point because, to be frank with you, particularly in the past 6 months or so, we've seen some great high-end devices reach the $100 price point, which is right where this thing starts. So I'm having a hard time recommending it. That said, if you need the physical QWERTY keyboard, you're on T-Mobile, you're committed, and to kind of give T-Mobile the edge again and kind of flip the argument here, they are noticeably cheaper in most cases over the course of a 2-year agreement. So if you're looking at the 2-year, the big picture, you're like, I want to save money over the long term, this may be a good option for you. That said, if you're like, I want a great device, go to AT&T, get the One X for $99.99, the Lumia 900, or the Atrix HD, or the Galaxy Nexus at Verizon. You get my point, and you're going to get a much better device for your money. So it all depends on what's more important to you, the device up front or the plan. So Quadrant Standard's running right now, and I did some call testing on this device, took it to T-Mobile Dead Spot in South Charlotte. It did maintain the call. Got kind of choppy, though, which I was a little bit concerned about, and also I'm kind of noticing the battery is, I'm getting like 8 to 9 hours with moderate use with the 1,500 milliamp hour battery. Now, fortunately, it's removable, so if you have a spare battery, you can pop it in and take advantage of that. But that said, it's not the best battery in the world by any means, 8 to 9 hours. Quadrant Standard, take it with a grain of salt. It's never indicative of day-to-day performance, but you're getting a pretty low 1,990 right here on this device. Compare this to the One S, which I believe was just reduced to 149 on T-Mobile, and it gets about 5,000 on Quadrant Standard. So much faster device in day-to-day performance, thanks to the dual-core Snapdragon S4 processor. So keep that in mind. Speed test over here, we'll take a look at T-Mobile's HSPA Plus network. Their 4G continues to do well in most metro areas. I've been really impressed with their 4G, and we'll load this up and keep it on the Chester server so you can see what this looks like. Another point of contention I have with this device, the display is just a little bit small. 4-inch display, and this is coming, granted, I use the Galaxy S3 on a regular basis as my personal device. I've worked with the One X for months. These 4.7, 4.8 inch, it's kind of the borderline for a lot of people, but I still find it to be a pretty usable display. This one is noticeably smaller. Maybe that's something you want. Maybe you're migrating from an iPhone and you're like, this is the perfect size. In that case, this will be a good device for you. So I'm getting about 3.7 megabits per second. Again, keep in mind it's 450. It's during rush hour right now in Charlotte, so the speeds aren't necessarily indicative of full network performance. That said, those are pretty respectable speeds, and I've seen this as fast as 10 to 12 megabits per second in the Charlotte metro area. Another thing I want to point out to you, the camera. You got a 5-megapixel shooter here. What I do like, though, is you get a physical camera button over here on the side. So let's bring over, let's see, what can we bring over? Another phone. How about the Galaxy Note I have laying here? I was using this earlier. So come in here and take a look, and you see it auto focuses for me. I can press, and there's no half press on the camera button. Once you press, it automatically takes the picture. That said, let's see if we can get it to focus back in there. Not a bad picture by any means, considering the price point of the device. I've seen much better cameras on the market, but again, not terrible, given the overall price point of the device, the fact that it's $50 after rebate. So you're going to get a decent picture, but again, definitely seen better. Atrix HD, $100, better camera. 1X, incredible camera on the 1X for $100 on AT&T. Even the Galaxy Nexuses I would recommend higher due to the 1080p HD video recording and a slightly better image shot. But you got a camera flip button here where you can go to the front-facing shooter. You got your settings where you can change your white balance, your store location, picture size, and more. And then I can go to flash, and I can go to the back, or excuse me, front back right there. And then of course, I apologize, this is shifting from video camera to still camera, as you can see there. Now I'm on the front-facing video camera. Let's go to regular camera. And that's going to stay on that device forever. Yep. And you can see right there a beautiful picture using the front-facing camera, which, take a look at that hair. Take a look at that her. And then over here again, we'll take a look at just a couple of applications. Email is still syncing, which is odd. That email's been in there for a while. Play Store. Let's take a look at the Play Store, and I'll show you what it looks like on this device as well. Again, taking a look at the 4-inch display on this device. And again, if you didn't get a chance to see part 1, go back and take a look at it. But here's what the keyboard looks like. It's a 4-row QWERTY keyboard with island keys, so plenty of room for large hands. I've been relatively impressed with the keyboard. I've definitely seen better options out there on the market. That said, you can't really go wrong for $50 with this device. CMAS weather service announcements. So if you if you live in a place like Charlotte where you've gotten 12 of these this week, you will most likely get frustrated with it and turn it off like I did. But nice to have those, and nice to have those for free. So a couple of different options here. Monopoly Classic, you get your music hub, and then we can go down through here and take a look at some of the applications. I want to show you a couple of things. YouTube, just to show you how it looks on the device here with a 4-inch display. Again, T-Mobile's HSPA Plus, reasonably fast in this area, although like I said, in my office, number 1 isn't great for reception. Number 2, we're in rush hour right now. But here, just to give you an idea, is what YouTube looks like, and we'll load up Phone Dog. And that is clearly not spelled right. Phone Dog. Let's keep it right there. Phone Dog. And then red Samsung Galaxy S3. And so you can rotate to see what it looks like in full screen mode. So again, 4-inch display. Going to be a little bit small for some people. And then there is our intro and our Facebook graphic. It's hands-on time with another Samsung Galaxy. And there's me talking in a video of me talking in a video. That's really creepy, me talking twice. But you get the idea of what it looks like again, and give that a gander in comparison to something like the Galaxy Note, where the screen size difference is pretty noticeable. Granted, this is on the large scale, the large end of the spectrum, rather this is on the smaller side, but you can really see the difference here between something that's very geared towards media consumption versus something that's geared more towards having a small screen, keeping it in your pocket, and typing on a regular basis. So other things I'd like to show you, your contacts. I showed you that in part 1, actually. I take that back. Let's see what else I can show you here. We'll go down through here. And I knew there was one other thing. I wanted to show you documents to go. That's what it was. Pre-installed on this device. You got next. We're going to accept those. And we're going to do that later. We're going to register later. And you can see Google Docs. I can take a look at local files, desktop files, but I can access PowerPoint documents, Excel documents, Microsoft Word documents, PDFs, and more using Documents to Go, which is pre-installed. So I can see this being a great, robust device for somebody that is on the go, perhaps a road warrior. While the battery life may not be the best in the world, you've got Documents to Go and a couple of different choices on here, like a physical QWERTY keyboard that makes it very easy to type documents, edit, and kind of read those on the go. Though that said, the screen is a little bit small. So all in all, it's not a bad device by any means. I really like the way it looks. It's definitely a durable device. It has a nice feel to it. I'm really impressed with the build quality. Huawei's really done a good job when it comes to the build. So on that front, it's a good looking device. It's got a nice feel to it. It doesn't feel cheap to me. The hinge, when you pull out the keyboard, feels good. Got a nice play to it, and it's got a nice click that snaps into place when you get it up there at the top. Now that said, again, $50 after rebates. I could see this device being cheaper and perhaps it's selling a little bit better. At $50, I really just don't see why you would buy this unless you just absolutely needed the QWERTY keyboard in comparison to some other devices on competing carriers. Take a look. If you got $50 or $100, you're not tied to T-Mobile, you're okay going with another carrier, take a look at some of the other devices on the market, or even take a look at some of the third-party retailers like Amazon, Wirefly, and more, and maybe see if you can get like a 1S or something like that on T-Mobile, or maybe an older Amaze 4G, which even in that case would be better spec-wise than this device for a little bit cheaper. Perhaps you can find one that's even cheaper than the myTouch Q in T-Mobile retail stores. That would be my recommendation. Keep it locked on PhoneDog.com for continuing coverage of this device, the myTouch, and more on PhoneDog.com. Be sure to like us on Facebook, Facebook.com/PhoneDog. If you went out and bought this device today, I'd love to hear from you. Let me know personally on Twitter at PhoneDog_Aaron and on Facebook at my page, Facebook.com/PhoneDogAB. Perhaps you love it. Perhaps you really like gingerbread. You're not a fan of ice cream sandwich, or perhaps you needed the physical QWERTY keyboard and you like the way it feels in the hand. Perhaps it's a perfect size for you. Let me know, PhoneDog_Aaron, and be sure to cast your vote for your favorite phone in PhoneDog's official smartphone rankings at PhoneDog.com/rankings. I'm Aaron from PhoneDog.com. Keep it locked because there's more coverage coming on this little QWERTY device on the site. We'll see you next time.